Good morning. Good morning. We are back here in the studio with Miss Karis Manning Center. She is a candidate for prosecuting attorney. Good morning. How are you today?
I am well. Thank you for asking, and I thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you here. So I can't wait to dive into your current role that you hold and then how you plan to transition into the role that you are campaigning for. So go ahead and let us know who you are and what you do.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am Karis Manning Center, and I currently serve as the Chief Deputy Prosecutor here for Jefferson and Lincoln County. I am essentially one of the deputies for the elected prosecutor, who is Cal Hunter. I have been in the prosecutor's 25 years office, that is 25 years. I began as a juvenile prosecutor and I have worked my way up the ranks. And as I said, serve now as the chief deputy, second up under the elected prosecutor. And I believe, did you ask me something else? I'm sorry.
Yes, what could you explain what the role of prosecuting attorney is, the role that you're campaigning for?
Well, the role of the prosecutor is he is a and she he or she is a administrator of justice, the charging authority for the county of Jefferson and Lincoln. That is for criminal felony matters and misdemeanor matters that happen in the county. We do have a city attorney that handles misdemeanors, civil, and city things that happen in the city. That is misdemeanor traffic offenses, other misdemeanor offenses such as domestic battery misdemeanors. She handles those in the city. We handle those that occur in the county that are misdemeanor and all felonies though that occur here in the county. So we are the administrators of justice for those felony offenses in the county and misdemeanor offenses.
Gotcha. Let's scoot over closer to me. I want to make sure.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Nope, the other way. I'm sorry. Go back the other way. I want to make sure you're in your frame. Good. There you are, so people can see you.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me, what gaps do you see in the current system that made you say, you know what, I'm going to run for prosecuting attorney?
Well, when I initially became a prosecutor, I wanted to fill a void. Black prosecutors make about 5% of the prosecutors throughout the nation. And so, in order to be the change I wanted to see, I had to put my face in that position. And so, as a prosecutor, we are responsible, as I said, for making those charging decisions. And as a deputy, though, I work under the elected prosecutor. And my role mainly is to be in the courtroom. And the elected, though, is more of the policy maker. And so, having served, and I think I've served well in my role as a deputy, I feel like I can make some policy changes that I think would be beneficial for this community, bringing my diversity into that also, and I believe my problem solving skills into that position also. For some of the things that I think this community is facing, the violent crime, particularly the drug and mental health issues that our community is facing here also.
Okay, I love to hear that. So let's talk a little bit about the problems that plague our county. You mentioned violent crimes. You mentioned drug abuse. Are there any initiatives that your office could put in place, or are there any other organizations that your office could partner with to kind of be proactive to those situations and those offenses?
Yes, one in particular that the city has taken on is called the GVI, Group Violence Intervention. And Judge Brown has spearheaded that with the juvenile court, and it has seen great success there. And now we are hoping to be able to push that also with adults. And so we want to definitely become more involved with that on the adult side hoping that we can also reduce our violent crimes there also with GVI. And it is a program that essentially targets violent offenders. And it is a what we call a credible messenger to target those offenders by going to those individuals that we know who are committing a lot of the violent crime and basically saying, look, we've got our eye on you. We want to help you, though, by providing you services that can help you, whatever those services may be, from job opportunities, economic opportunities, to educational opportunities. But knowing that if you continue, though, in pursuing your criminal behavior, then we are going to put the full force of the authority of the law behind us to essentially hold you accountable for what you are doing.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the state of our community or our county when it comes to single parent homes, right? If there's one parent in the home and they have to work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, there's little time to actually train a child up in the way that he or she should go. It truly does take a village. So, are there any type of initiatives where you reach them younger, like going out into the schools, going out into the community, showing your face, letting the kids know who you are, so we can catch them at a younger age? Do you guys have anything like that in place?
Currently, we don't, but as I stated, I do want to set a policy in the office that we want to help prevent crime, and one way as we can do that also is to become more involved in the community, to gain that community trust by, yes, going into the schools, educating our youth on what the law is and the consequences for breaking the law, and guiding them to opportunities to become more involved with such things as moot court, for example. That is an opportunity for young youths to be involved in learning about the court system, and hopefully oftentimes may lead to a career in the criminal justice
Now, what was the
system.
name of that you just said?
It's called moot court, where kids essentially get to compete and become lawyers themselves, and they argue different situations, cases before judges.
And how do they get involved in that? Where is that located?
Well, that's something that, as I said, we want to hopefully implement.
Oh, you want to implement? Okay,
yes,
that's awesome.
To get kids more involved, yes, and understanding, yes, what happens in the legal system, yes.
Absolutely.
So they can see it firsthand themselves and be involved, yes.
See both sides of it, because oftentimes they probably see family members, unfortunately being incarcerated or getting into a little bit of trouble, but helping them to understand both sides of the law. I think that's a great way to tackle making sure that they don't enter into that system later on. I want to ask you, what's one thing that you've been running your platform on that you feel you could improve if elected or when elected as our prosecuting attorney?
Well, my vision and my platform is called Community Focused Justice. The prosecutor's office cannot operate without the help of the community. The way we build our cases is through witnesses. And the current state of affairs, we see is that a lot of witnesses do not want to come forward out of fear, sometimes out of just, they don't want to be involved potentially also. With having to come to court, having to take off work, things of that nature also. So we want to build that community trust that we are here to help and that we are here to protect. And we want to do that by showing, the community that we want to help by, for example, some of the things that I would want to do to build that trust is, educating the community on how, for example, to seal their record if they have had a conviction, how to restore their driver's license, things of that nature that we can go into the community to educate them and to also help them to build that trust also. So those are some of the things that I want to do with my platform, community focused justice, to build that trust, and even potentially also having a citizen advisory panel to also address some of the concerns that the community may have, to get them more involved and engaged also with our office and us engaged with the community.
I love that. One of the aldermen, he's not an alderman, he's running for fourth ward alderman, Nate. He mentioned having those type of services for the people in his ward. So I'm sure that you could somehow collaborate with city council and others to get some of those initiatives off the ground and get that started. I think that's great. I think that's great. Okay, let me know, what is the one thing as you've been campaigning that people have been telling you that they find as an issue in our current justice system?
I would say most likely fairness. And I think, the way our community, that being blacks, have been treated by the criminal justice system is still some lingering effects of that still, that people feel like the criminal justice system is not fair for people of color. Mm-hmm. So I would say the fairness and transparency of what happens in the prosecutor's office.
Okay. I find that hard to believe because most of the officers that I see are black. Most of the judges are black, right?
That's correct.
But we still are suffering from injustice, in your opinion?
I don't think we are suffering necessarily from injustice. I think they still feel that overall the justice system is not equal and fair in its treatment to people.
Like with some of the things that the governor passes and those types of things. Okay, yes. I got you. Okay, so is there anything else that you would like? We're voting. It's voting time. Early voting has begun.
Yes.
What would you like to say to those who have not voted yet?
Well, I would hope that they would be informed and that they would learn about the candidates. And I do have a website. We have been canvassing. We've had mailers sent out to the community also. So I want voters to make an informed decision and hopefully that they can find that information for themselves also. But if they can't, there are forums that have been held that they can, the Divine Nine, I believe, had one about a week or so ago with the candidates also. A lot of the candidates have information online also where they can find that information out also. But just to speak, for myself about me personally, what I want the voters to know is that, this position is a very critical position, one that I feel like experience does matter in this particular position. Particularly prosecutorial experience, I think, matters in this position because it is a specialized role. Anyone that has a criminal background, of course, could run for this position, but I feel like that person should have some significant prosecutorial experience for this position also. I feel like this position requires someone to have some commitment and dedication also, which I feel like I have shown to this community with my 25 years of service to this community. This is not just about a title for me. It is about serving this community, which I have done for the past 25 years. I have not been sitting on the sidelines. I have been involved trying to help protect this community, and which is why I took on this position, as I said, because I wanted someone of diversity to be in that office. and I am the only Black face in that office currently, and have been for a long period of time. So I feel like that's important also in this position. And finally, I feel like the vision that I have with the community focused justice platform, I think um, shows that I am concerned about this community, and I want to rebuild the trust of our office with this community also, and that my ideas are not, people speak, I think, and sometimes in generalities about things such as transparency, but what are they going to do, to bring out that transparency? And I feel like I'm just not talking to talk. I do have ideas even about transparency for this office, getting us online so that we have an online platform, implementing some text messages and email mediums to keep our victims informed. So I do have things that I want to implement, as I stated, to be able to show the community that I want to rebuild that trust, like I stated, with restoring the driver's license, educating how, sealing their records, things of that nature, also to rebuild that trust. And so that is what I want the community to know about me.
Awesome. Listen, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. You guys, if you haven't voted, please share this live, watch it. Let us know if you're watching the replay. Put any questions that you have for our candidate here down in the comments. I'm pretty sure when she gets a little bit of spare time, she'll hop in the comments and answer all the questions that she can. Again, this platform is so we can get to know the candidates. This is not a forum. We just want to get to know them, get to understand why they're running, what their passion is, what their platform is. And like I always say, if you have a candidate and you have an issue, if you do not let them know what your issue is, there is no way that they can work on it, because they're only one person. So if you have something that your family member has gone through, that you've gone through, and you have a question, please put it in the comments below. So Attorney Cares, is that your right title, Attorney Cares?
Yes.
Attorney Cares can answer your questions below. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of The Table Before Me. If you have not voted, again, please ask her questions so that you can go to the polls informed. Be sure to share the live so